Hi everyone, this is Amy from the Helms Academy, and today we're going to be talking about ordering fractions. By the end of this video, you'll be able to define the key terms, identify the parts of a fraction, and order fractions from least to greatest. First, let's talk about key terms. A fraction represents a portion of a whole number, and you'll see it shown as two numbers that are divided by a line. The numerator of a fraction is the top number. In the fractions you see on this slide, the numerators are 1, 3, 14, and 59. The denominator of a fraction is the bottom number. In those same fractions you see on the screen, the denominators are 2, 4, 29, and 100. Now, fractions can be a little tricky to understand, so let's start with a visual. I like to think about fractions like a pizza. This pizza you see on the screen is cut into 4 slices. So think of your denominator, that bottom number, as the total number of slices in your pizza. You could cut the pizza into any number of slices, and this would change the denominator. But for today, we're going to keep this denominator at 4 for 4 slices of pizza. Now, if I only eat one of the 4 slices, or 1/4, then how much is still there? How much is left for other people? 3 of the slices, or 3/4. Now, if I eat 2 of the 4 slices, 2/4 would be eaten, and 2/4 would still be left. But you probably wouldn't tell your friend, I just ate 2/4 of a pizza. Would you? You would probably say, I ate 1/2 of the pizza. Now we know that 2/4 and 1/2 are the same. They're equivalent fractions. Now, let's say you ate all 4 slices. That's 4 out of 4 slices of pizza, or 4/4. That would be the whole thing. So 4/4 is actually equal to 1 whole. In fact, any fraction that's written that way, 5/5, or 100 100ths, or 74 74ths, if it's the same numerator and denominator, top and bottom, that fraction is actually just equal to 1 whole. If you get stuck on fractions or they get confusing, I encourage you to draw the pizza on a piece of paper. And the denominator will show you how many slices you should have on your pizza, and the numerator will tell you how many to think about coloring in. That will show you what your fraction looks like. Now, let's think about how to put fractions in order from least to greatest. Here's one quick trick. If all of the fractions you're putting in order have the same number in the numerator, but they have different denominators, it's easy to put them in order. The one with the largest denominator is going to go first because it's the smallest. Why? Well, let's say you're sharing your pizza with 6 friends, and you all get 1 equal part of the pizza. That's 1/6. Then the next day, you decide to share that same size pizza, but you cut it into 5 slices because there's only 5 people, and you eat 1/5. The slice will be bigger because you have fewer people to share the pizza with, so you'll get more. Now, 1 week later, you get that same pizza, same size, but this time you're only going to share it with 1 other friend, which means that you cut the pizza into 2 parts, 1 for you and 1 for your friend. Now you're getting half of that pizza, 1 out of 2 slices. That's way more than when you just got 1 out of 6 slices when you were sharing with all of your 6 friends. So even though 6 is a bigger number, when it's in that denominator in the world of fractions, 1/6 is smaller than 1/5, which is smaller than 1/4, which is smaller than 1/3, which is smaller than 1/2. So you can organize your fractions from least to greatest by putting the one that has the largest denominator at the beginning. Okay, here's one other trick. If you have the same denominator but different numerators, you can organize those numbers from smallest to largest by looking at the numerators. So each of these has 8 as the denominator. Let's think of our pizza again. We're going to cut that pizza into 8 equal slices. So who will eat more? The person who has 1 out of the 8 slices, or someone who eats 5 out of the 8 slices? Well, the 5, of course. So if we see a string of numbers like the one on the screen, where the denominator is all the same, we can show which fraction is the smallest and by which one has the smallest numerator, and then go up to which one has the largest numerator. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, and so on. Now, what do we do if we have all different numbers on our fractions? Well, we really can't compare them well unless they have something in common. So first, we're going to find the common denominator. Now, we can do this by finding the least common multiple, or LCM. I see that 2 of the fractions have 8 as the denominator, and that's the largest denominator that we see. 2 others have 4 in the denominator, and I know that 4 can be multiplied by 2 to get 8. And the last one has a 2 in the denominator, and I know that 2 could be multiplied by 4 to get 8. So in this case, I know that the least common multiple between 2, 4, and 8 is 8. Now we need to convert the fractions so that they all have 8 as the denominator. Look at the denominator in 1/4 first. We know that 4 times 2 equals 8. So that means we also have to multiply the numerator by 2. That means that 1/4 is equal to 2/8. Think about it. Whether you cut that pizza into 4 slices and eat one of them, or you cut each of those slices in half to make 8 slices but eat 2 of them, that's still the same amount of pizza. So 1/4 and 2/8 are equivalent fractions. So next we have 1/2. 2 times 4 equals 8, so we have to multiply the numerator by 4 also. 1 times 4 equals 4, so 1/2 equals 4/8. 7/8 can stay the same because the denominator is already 8. Next is 3/4. 4 needs to be multiplied by 2 to get 8, so we must also multiply the numerator by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, so 3/4 equals 6/8. Last but not least, 5/8 can stay the same because the denominator is already 8. So now we can order the fractions because they have common denominators. We have to put them in order from least to greatest, which we'll be able to do by looking at the numerators. So here it is. I put all of the fractions in order from least to greatest using their equivalent fraction forms. 2/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and 7/8. Remember, when we have a common denominator, we can put the numerators in order from least to greatest, and that will put our fractions in order from least to greatest. The final step is to put them in their original written form. So from least to greatest, based on that original list, we have 1/4, 1/2, 5/8, 3/4, and 7/8. So there you have it. Now we know how to order fractions. Great job today, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the Helms Academy at helmsacademy.org.